In tonight's episode, we are going console crazy as the Adipose checks out Battlefield 3 on the PS3. This is my first time playing these games on a console, and I'll be telling you what I thought was better, what I thought was worse, how easy I found the transition from mouse and keyboard to controller, and chatting about lots of other bits and bobs as well. So, soldier, let's get comparing. Well, greetings ladies and gentlemen, my name is TheAdiposeTV and this is Battlefield 3. But unlike all of my other Battlefield 3 videos, this is Battlefield 3 on the PS3. It's currently free if you've got PlayStation Plus to download and play Battlefield 3. And as I've been playing it now for a couple of years on the PC, I thought I would take the opportunity to download and see what it's actually like on a console. Now, this video is probably going to turn into a bit of a rant at some point, so let me just get this out of the way right now. I really like my PS3. I think it is an excellent console. I think that it's got some brilliant games on there. I've had a lot of fun on there. I've got huge amounts of hours on things like Guitar Hero, Little Big Planet. There's loads of great games on there, but I had the worst time trying to have a go on this, trying to play this a first-person shooter on a console. It was like I was playing in toffee. I felt like I was moving so slowly, and every kind of little action and turn was kind of always jerky and inaccurate. Now, obviously, the response to this could be, well, I haven't really played first-person shooters much on a console, and therefore, why would I expect to be nearly as good as the PC? And that's a fair point. I've probably put hundreds of hours into playing first-person shooters on the PC, so there's no way I would expect to be nearly as kind of as fluent. But even with that in mind, I just find the whole thing really quite painful. Now, I'm sure this is going to lead to a whole load of kind of like arguments and debates in the comment section, and that's absolutely fine. You're more than welcome to disagree with me on this one. But one of the first things I found is that the resolution is really quite low compared to the PC. On the PC I play in kind of full HD, and the picture is crystal clear. On the PS3 it's half that, and actually when I was fighting that guy there, the reason I didn't kill him, other than just being sucky on the console, was I couldn't see him. It actually got so blurry amongst the smoke and he just kind of merged into the background, and he actually managed to sidestep me while lying on the ground, which is I didn't even know you could do that. The next issue I kind of have with it is the fact that when you're trying to aim with the right stick, it's almost like you've got mouse acceleration taken to the nth degree, because if you move if you move the right stick a little bit, then you slowly move your aiming around. If you move it a little bit more, then it moves at a faster speed, and obviously if you move it all the way to the edge of the right stick, then you get a very fast spin around. Now, that obviously allows a player to aim at lots and lots of different speeds, but I guess the issue was for me that I just felt that I had very little kind of predictability about where it was going to end up. And yes, I would obviously need to play with it a lot more to actually kind of get that ability perfect. But the advantage of playing with a mouse and a keyboard is that if I move the mouse 2 inches to the right, I know exactly how far that's going to move across on the screen, and therefore I can very quickly kind of turn left and right to the exact degrees, and if I see a target coming up, I can get the mouse on him. Whereas here, clearly I saw him first, clearly I should have got the kill, but I just couldn't get the mouse around there in time. Right, rant number 2. The spot button is select. Now, if you've got a PS3 pad or an Xbox pad, look where the select button is. It's one of those buttons that you use in menus, and you don't really use it during general gameplay because it's in a silly place. None of your fingers are on it, and yet spot is one of the most important buttons that there is in the game. There I couldn't spot that guy because I was busy trying to shoot him. To spot that guy, I would have had to have stopped moving, stop shooting the guy, move my hand to the left, and move my left hand to the right, sorry, and then press the spot button, and then get back onto him in the hope that I wasn't dead by that point. And what's quite noticeable in playing on a PS3 server compared to a PC server is just how little spotting goes on. There is some, and there are obviously some players that really got the knack of kind of getting that movement across, but it's tricky. I actually remap spot underneath my thumb in Battlefield 3 on the PC, so I press it almost without thinking now on any target that I can see, distance or close. Now, I absolutely apologise for my PC snobbery here, but I was kind of under the impression that PC players were a lot better than PS3 players or console players. And one of the reasons I kind of booted this up is because I kind of thought, well, you know, I'll go and show those console players what playing Battlefield 3 is really like. But actually, I didn't find that was the case at all. I found that actually there was a lot of very good players on here who had excellent accuracy, who had good movement, who were able to, you know, who were playing tactically as well. You know, they peek out of one side and then come peek out of another side. You know, they weren't in any way newbies. Of course, there was the odd player that was just standing around and you could easily shoot him in the back. But then again, you get that on PC anyway. So the fact that there's a few players around that are still learning the game shows nothing about the quality of the console. So I apologise for my PC snobbery. There are some very, very good players here, and not only that, there were actually people were playing as a squad. And one of the objections I always had to playing on a console is that you're kind of a bit of a lone wolf and there's not really an incentive to play as a squad. But I did a bit of Conquest and people were playing in squads, people were spawning on each other, people were moving together, and I actually found that it was easier to speak to my squad on PS3 than it was to speak to my squad on PC, because when you load up the PlayStation 3, as long as you've got a microphone activated, you're automatically connected verbally to your squad, whereas on the PC you've got to, most people kind of use like Skype or TeamSpeak or you know, various other programs like that, and they only kind of really tend to speak if you're in the same clan or you know each other outside of the game. So actually I think that the PS3 perhaps has the advantage over the PC when it potentially comes to gameplay. The other advantage that the PS3 has, of course, is in the vehicles. I do think, and if you remember my helicopter tutorials from last year, I do think that using a controller for certain vehicles can be easier and can help. But I was just having such a bad time trying to play infantry with this control setup. And one thing I noticed that I didn't know that I would miss would be the field of view. I have my field of view set to 90 on the PC, and I'd kind of forgotten that I'd done it. But on this game, I was actually just being, people all the time were getting me from the side, from behind. They were running around me, and I couldn't work out why until I realised that I've actually lost 10 degrees off both the left and right hand side of my screen. Added to that the fact that I have to kind of look left and right in jerks. I mean, I do have the disadvantage here that I've got literally no unlocks at all. I'm looking down the iron sights in the gun, so I certainly wouldn't be expecting to play well. But just there where I got stuck on the pole, I got stuck on the pole because I couldn't see it. It was off my right hand side. I also noticed that not only was the resolution lower, which made it blurry, that the textures themselves weren't nearly as kind of good quality. And when I got quite close to things like that wall and that what is kind of a filing cabinet machine there, that you could see very, very blurry textures up close. But I guess maybe I'm being unfair there because the PS3 is now quite old, and I think almost every component in my PC is now newer than every component in the PS3. But nevertheless, I would then kind of suggest, well, why don't more people play it on PCs? But if the rumours are to be believed that both the PC and the consoles are dying off in favour of the mobile generation, so maybe one day we'll all be playing on Battlefield 5 on the Battlefield 5 on the iPad and wondering why on earth we can't control it there. Now, most of these videos tend to end with one of those little kind of reflective bits that kind of say, oh, well, I found it difficult at first, and after a couple of hours of gameplay, I got the hang of it, and I was starting to put together some quite decent scores. Well, I can honestly say that didn't happen here. I sucked when I first loaded it up, and after playing for a few hours, I still sucked when I turned it off. It's just that aim. I'll like see someone in the distance, and then I'll move the gun to a little bit to the right, and it'll go beyond them. Then I'll move a little bit to the left, and it'll go not far enough. Then I'll move it to the right again, and it'll go past them. And then, oh god, if they move, then absolutely forget about it. If they move, there's no way I can keep that crosshair on them, especially if they start changing speeds and things like that. And yes, obviously I would need to practice, and I would need to kind of get better at it, and then maybe I should complain. But I just kind of think, well, why would I want to? Why would someone want to put themselves through this? And there in that situation there, I clearly had the first shot on him. I clearly should have killed him, and on the PC he would have been dead so quickly, but actually I got shot in the face. And this was a story that repeated itself over and over. One of the other interesting things, differences between the PC and the PS3, of course, is the absence of Battlelog. On the PC, you load up through the browser, you search for a web page, you search through a server as if it was a web page, and you can see all your statistics and stuff there. Whereas, of course, on the PS3, on the PS3, everything is done in the game. It reminds me of actually Bad Company 2 in the fact that you search for servers in the game. And I must say, despite moaning about Battlelog when it first came out, I kind of missed it. It's actually a lot easier to surf through the servers and stuff, and quicker to surf through the servers in Battlelog than it is actually in game. Anyway, so that was Addy's little adventures on PS3. A truly painful and horrible experience. If there's any of you out there that have also tried it on PC and PS3, let me know your thoughts. And of course, if you're a console player, of course, you can jump all over me here and you can tell me everything I'm doing wrong. I'm fully expecting to get flamed here, but oh wow, that was bad. Thanks for watching. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.